I'm just like you.
You're just like me.
Something anyone can see.
Welcome back. to You're Just Like Me. Oh my gosh, it's hard to say at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's really hard to say things at the same time now. Life update. I live in New York now.
Very exciting. Very jealous.
Pretty exciting. Makes recording a podcast a little bit more difficult, but we're doing it.
It'll be okay.
It'll be fine. This will all work out. Oof. Big tired. It's almost 9 here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Felicia.
Yeah.
What is up?
Oh my
gosh. What has been going on in your life since last week when we definitely recorded?
It's so funny because, like I was saying, I felt like we had that conversation like last week, but I was like, that was like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, it was just that you had to listen to it all.
But it's like I completely forgot about that conversation we had. I mean, I remember very little of it, but I was like, oh yeah, I forgot me and Sarah talked about this.
Yes.
Okay, important.
Important.
What did you think about Lover? Like, since you probably listened to all of it now, right?
Yes. I like it better than I did last time. I'd still say the first half of the album is my favorite.
Okay.
But I really love Daylight also.
Ooh.
I think that's a really good, like, closer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say Cruel Summer is my favorite song on the album.
Ooh, I would say probably me too. And also, I was going to tell you that I finally started listening to some of Carly Rae Jepsen. Carly Rae Jepsen? Is that her name?
Yes, Jepsen.
Yeah, Jepsen. Her album, but I've only listened to I need to find the songs that I really like.
I still love her. She's okay. My boss, I work at Lush now also. Just like selling soap is my new life. But my boss, like, I was like, a Carly Rae Jepsen song came on. I think it was Too Much, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yes, I'm a Carly Rae stan before anything else. And she was like, no, ew, no. And I was like, Brie, you're breaking my heart. Oh my god. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's my most recent Carly Rae.
I was gonna say my favorite ones right now. I don't think I've listened to the whole album, but I like Party for One and Now That I Found You. Those are on my jams playlist right now.
Now That I Found You is really good.
I think every like week I've been adding like one song from her album to my playlist because like I feel like with all music I need to like slowly introduce it to my playlist.
Perfect. I mean, it works.
I don't know, at work now I've been like really bored, so I've been just making playlists like the whole time.
Are you still working as like a video editor?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well,
I was just checking because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, well, like the thing is like it's mainly audio. I don't really need to watch the video, so like with my eyes I can do other stuff, but like I feel weird doing some stuff in the office. Like sometimes I want to like read Reddit or whatever, but I'm like I feel like that's wrong. So I was like now I go on Spotify and I just like do like browsing on Spotify, which is like not really it's not really like the, you know, it's not a social media, but I still spend I'd spent like an hour like looking through all these artists and like trying to find new music and stuff, and like I like go to artist pages and then I'll just like look through all their music to find out like which songs have the most streams because I'm like really bored.
Wow, sounds like a very productive workplace.
Okay, I'm not the best employee.
Don't worry, I'm not judging you. That's fine. I was not great at OMN, which was my job for video editing, so I
love it, but it's so boring.
Yeah.
It's very like, especially like when I'm doing lectures that are like like the liberal arts ones I think are like exciting to me. Like I was doing marketing on Friday and that was kind of interesting ones, but like some of like the science ones and stuff, I'm like, this is the most boring thing I've ever heard. I'm so glad I'm not a science major. Like,
yeah,
I'm so glad
I'm not in college anymore.
Yeah.
I occasionally miss like learning new things, like just going and sitting in a room and having someone tell you things, but like,
yeah,
other than that, You're gonna like it on the outside fully, I promise.
I don't know. I feel like I've been having like a rough time in college, but like now most of my classes aren't too bad. But like even like if I need to sit and listen for like 30 minutes, I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know, my attention span is so bad.
I feel, yeah. I've been listening to so many podcasts recently that I actually kind of just zoned out while you're talking, and I was like, this is like an interesting, like I was like listening to your voice as if it was a podcast, then I was like, oh wait, I have to respond.
It is a podcast.
It is a podcast. That's meta. You
know what I've been doing in November? I restarted My Favorite Murder, and like last week I just caught up, and now I'm like,
oh my god,
what do I listen to, like, what is it? I think there's 200 episodes now.
Yeah, I did that with my brother and me. Like, literally, since I moved here to now, I listen to every single episode again.
But like, but now
I don't know what to do with my time.
Yeah, now I'm like, what do I do? Because like, I'm very specific about what podcasts I listen to. So like, I've been trying to find new ones that I like, but it's really hard for me. And like, I was like, okay, I'll just go back to My Favorite Murder, because actually, when I was listening to it, a couple of the old episodes, like I don't think I've ever listened to before.
I used to fall asleep to them sometimes, so I would miss like
me
30
too.
minutes of one or something. Yeah,
I think that's why I'm okay too with rambling so much, because they spend so much time just talking about random stuff, and I find it interesting. So I'm like, maybe other people find me talking about super boring stuff interesting.
Perfect.
Wait, there's one more music thing I was gonna say. Halsey's album came out on Friday. And it's amazing, and I love it, and it breaks my heart, but it's beautiful. Have you listened to it at all?
I will listen to all of it. I've only listened to parts of it so far.
If you listen to it in order,
all of it before next week.
If you listen to it in order, it's actually really beautiful, because like she does kind of link, because I saw on her Twitter, she was like, oh, like I always thought you're supposed to listen to new albums in order and stuff, and you guys should if you want, or whatever. And I was like, okay, maybe I will. And then I like listened to it in order, and like, because like the transitions, I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I think it's really good. Like I was a fan of Halsey like in her first album. I remember I was in high school when it came out, and like now I feel like I'm so proud of her, because she's like a pop star now. It's kind of silly, I guess, but
God,
I'm proud of her.
I love that first album of hers so much. Like I spent that entire summer just like listening to it like on repeat.
Yeah, it's like all of her work is good in like different ways. Like I feel like I like this new album, but her first one's really good too. I'm kind of like in between about her second one, but I think this one's really strong. Especially like the singles.
I like some songs from the second.
Yeah, I do. But the singles on this one, I feel like especially are really strong. Which I think is interesting, because I was saying I don't like the singles from Taylor Swift's album. Like they're my least favorite on the album, but I feel like Halsey's were like my favorite on the album. So I'm like, I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. I was going to ask, because 4 months ago in October.
Oh no, what did I say?
4 months ago, right? You said that you wanted to tell me about the Shadowhunters book that you finished, and then you didn't tell me about it because the episode went so long. And so for 4 months, I've been kind of dying to know.
I feel like I have so much stuff to say, though. Do you really want me to go into it?
Like, yeah, but we could also save it as a treat for at the end of talking about this movie, which, like... Was it a movie?
What do you mean?
Or was it just a very special episode of a TV show? Because it felt very TV show-ish.
You think so?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe it was just the fact that they kind of were already... They already had the universe set up. So it was like... It was very sequel. Like, you really needed the first one's story to make the second one make sense. Which is why they did that little recap at the beginning. Which was narrated by Azura... Which felt really weird, because she wasn't there for, like...
Yeah, that was random.
Any of it. She came in at the end, and she was just like...
Do you want to talk about the movie now?
Sure, sorry. I just started. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
No, we can, but there's this... I was going to tell you. I looked up how much the GameCube cost when it first was released, and it was $199. Because I think you asked me that.
That's like $4 million.
Or I asked you that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And, you saw Cats, right? What do you think?
I did see Cats. It was so bad. I went with my friend Chloe. She literally walked out of the theater.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't good. I don't recommend it.
Oh. Like, what do you think of the CGI?
they made it a lot more work for themselves than they needed to. Because so they didn't use like mocap suits or anything, which means they basically had to like reanimate like all of like the dancing and everything like that so they could put fur on top of it. And the problem with that is that it made a lot of the dancing very mechanical. And like the whole point of like dancing is to like marvel at the human form and like being able to push your body, or somebody being able to push their body through training and everything like that to do these amazing, beautiful feats. But when it looks just a little bit too smooth and it looks very animated, it no longer gives that sense of like amazement of like, oh, look at this dancer. Or at least in my opinion. So, and occasionally feet would like clip through the floor while they were dancing and walking. And at one point, McCavity, who's like the Idris Elba cat, who's bad, he's wearing like a hat and a coat throughout the whole first like 2 acts. And then he takes them off at one point, and it just feels very wrong and naked because suddenly he's not wearing anything, and the Rebel Wilson cat unzips her skin and takes it off, and she's wearing a different outfit under it.
Okay.
And it's just kind of
well, like the movie's
jarring.
supposed to be kind of surrealist, right?
Yeah, but like it's not supposed to like give me body horror issues, I think.
Oh.
Like
that's not good.
Girl, it's I don't know. I never really liked Cats to begin with anyway. Like as a musical, it's like not one of my faves. It's just kind of weird and doesn't really have a plot. So like choosing that one to do was weird enough. And I feel like it could have gone for a little bit more like, you know, in like Moulin Rouge, how everything's like super like hyper dreamlike, very plastic, like that kind of thing. They could have gone like even a little bit farther, and I feel like it wouldn't have felt weird. But there were just enough things still keeping it in reality. Like there's just something about Judi Dench's face covered in fake fur that just haunts my nightmares.
Oh. Did you see it twice or no?
No, I only saw it once.
Okay. I feel like I thought you saw it twice for some reason.
No.
Okay.
You liked it so much I just went back again.
What do you think of Taylor Swift's
watched
song?
It again.
Was it good?
Okay, the song that she sang in the movie is not her original song. And she put on an accent for it, which like I was kind of here for, but kind of also like took me out of it a little bit. But like, you know, it's fine. It like I think her scene was one of my more favorite ones, because like she kind of just like was giving it her all, at least. And like, you know, Ian McKellen just like did not care. I don't think he just was just like, I guess I'll just be here and being Ian McKellen, and that's fine. Like I'm terrified that he or Judi Dench are gonna like, this is gonna be their last movie. Can you imagine?
Ooh.
Like, ugh.
You know what's funny?
Anyway.
Me and Emma were about to like leave for the movie. We had a showtime picked out, and we were like heading to the door, and we were like, what if we don't see Cats? And then we just stayed inside and watched like a movie on Netflix. We were so close to seeing it.
I love that so much. But what if we don't see Cats? That is so good.
But like I wanted to see it, but then I heard Taylor Swift's not in it that much, and it's really weird. And then I was like
she's in one scene. Like she's like in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And like, well, do you like any of that's Andrew Lloyd Webber, right?
Yeah.
Do you like any of his musicals?
I'm not a huge fan of him. He's fine. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen enough to like really say. Like I've seen Cats and I've seen Phantom, and
actually maybe
I can't think off the top of my head
of his musicals, because I haven't seen Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, I've only seen the movie version, but I want to see the stage play version.
You haven't seen any Broadway shows yet, have you?
Not yet.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to get lottery tickets to Beetlejuice because I want to see it before it's gone.
You gotta see a Broadway show. Or maybe
I just don't have any money right now, dude.
Just see the cheapest show.
I'm like living here. It's fine. I've got time.
You know, in like high school when I was really obsessed with Broadway, I download those apps where you can like get same day tickets, and I would like look at the ticket prices for like shows I wanted to see, and they'd be like, you know, like $40, and I'd be like, I wish I was in New York right now. Especially like, you know.
Okay, I will live your dream. Your high school dream.
You know, like off Broadway stuff, you know, like Heathers and stuff you could see for really cheap, and I was like, I wish I was there.
Love Heathers.
Okay, I'm ready to start talking about the movie. I need to get my other notebook for this.
Okay.
Oh, and I was also just gonna update and say I did get Luigi's Mansion 3, and I've been playing it. It's very good.
Okay, good to know.
Because we talked about that last episode. Even if you probably don't remember. Last episode that we recorded very recently.
Yes.
Well, I was just
definitely not in October.
I was just saying that I did not play Luigi's Mansion this October though, because Lexi and Lucas still had the GameCube, but I played the third one on.
I played a little bit of Luigi's Mansion on your and Lexi's GameCube in October because I went over to their house like 2 days before I moved back here, and they let me like attempt to play it, and I did a very bad job because
I'm
not great at video games.
I'm a little sad that
mediocre
I still have it.
At best.
They played it on Halloween, I guess, so good for them. I played the Switch one on Halloween though, so it was like okay. Also, I didn't have to pay for it because somehow Lexi's account like let me download it to my Switch. Very exciting. So
it was love theft.
Well, yeah, because we're on this like her account's on both of our Switches, so for some reason, if my Switch is her primary account, so since she bought it on her or Lucas's Switch, but her account's still on it, like it let me download the game still.
That's cool.
So that's very nice of Lexi because she accidentally bought me a game.
Oh, Lex.
So actually, very important, I had the DVD of Mermaidia, so I actually played it.
Oh my god.
And I'm gonna tell you the previews that it showed me.
Oh my god, yes. I need the previews. Thank god.
It had it said this fall 2006 The 12 Dancing Princesses is coming out on DVD. And it had the weird tagline, Power of 12. I don't really know what that means. But The 12 Dancing Princesses is actually one of my favorites, I'd say. So I think that might be the next one. Maybe not. I don't know. And then it said May 9th, 2006, which is earlier than fall, so I'm not sure when this movie came out. I should have looked that up. But it was... I didn't write down the name of it. What was it called? The Barbie Diaries one?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to say maybe we've been too hard on the animation because the animation for this one was crazy looking. It's like... Oh, no. Very weird. It also looked like it was not a high resolution looking movie.
Oof. Okay. Well... I guess we're going to have to go lower than -9 for that one, I guess.
Lower than -9. So after I saw that, I was like, no, I'm not going to rate the animation that bad for this one. It's all right. And because for some reason, before I went to the menu on the DVD, it had like a, hi, I'm Barbie, and this is Barbie Mermaidia, a land of mermaids. And she like introduced the movie before I started the movie, which was kind of weird.
Weird. Thanks, Barbie.
The menu was pretty standard, though. I don't know. It had like a games option. I went to it, but then I was like, I'm not gonna play these. So then I just started the movie.
Okay. Amazing.
Okay.
Perfect.
So the movie starts, like you said, with a recap from Azura. Is she the blue-haired one? Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's the blue one.
Yeah.
Like Azul, I think, because Azul's blue in Spanish, right?
Azul. I feel like Azula might be a gem. Maybe that's not true.
I don't know. They were
but she gives
kind of gems.
a very in-depth recap that I feel like is almost too in-depth. Is that just me?
Yeah. It wasn't just kind of like, oh, she helped us out with Laverne. It was like, no, here, beat by beat, for all of you who hated it and tried to wipe it from your memory. This is it.
Well, it's almost like, did they need it at all? Was any of that information necessarily important?
I guess it kind of let you know who Laverne is and let you know that Elena really valued her wings because she just got them for the first time.
I don't know.
But other
I don't
than
know
that,
if kids care, but I guess you're right. So they're flying through the meadow, and again, the grass textures are kind of ugly.
For that, I said Bibble is a destructive force who refused to let people chill because he just like barrels through a group of people sitting and then laughs when they're all like ducking.
But did you see that one grass area that was like
see that one grass?
There was a one grass like hill that it had like a checkerboard pattern of light and dark grass,
so bad.
And it just looked like it was just repeating, and I was like, this looks horrible. Like, I mean, we've seen worse in these movies, but I was like, come on.
All right.
And someone's following Bibble.
A pink pigtail fairy is what I wrote
and
down.
I said, it's not a Kelly, because I don't know what she is, but she's not a Kelly.
Her head is too big and her eyes are too large.
Yeah.
Like, there are no Kellys in this universe, which is weird.
So
we haven't seen a single Kelly in any Fairytopia movie.
Oh. Interesting. So she starts rambling, and they're like, who are you? And I would say, her eyes are really big, and it's very weird because, like, she's like half the size of Barbie, but her eyes are like 4 times the size of Barbie's, you know?
I know. It's very strange.
And her body is very weird, too. She's just like, I don't know. I guess she's supposed
No, she's improperly proportioned.
And
like, people say Barbie has bad proportions because she'd fall down because her tits are too big. That's, like, nothing compared to this, like, almost Slender Man creature in terms of, like, limb proportions.
Oh my gosh.
Skinniness.
I feel like we're telepathic because last night I went on a deep dive into Slender Man. Well,
oh my god.
You know how...
That's so funny.
Well, like, you know how a couple years ago there was, like, a Slender Man, like, stabbing incident?
Yes, I actually do remember that. I was thinking about that the other day, too. Yeah, so I also thought about Slender Man earlier this week, which is weird that we both thought about that.
I guess there's a Slender Man movie, too, that I never watched.
Yeah, I felt no urge to see that.
That's what I learned in my deep dive. I mean, I didn't go that deep, because I didn't even, like, look at creepypasta, because I was like, I don't want to. But after I read this...
I don't like creepypasta.
Okay, after I started reading all these Slender Man articles, though, I started kind of freaking out, getting really paranoid, and then I couldn't sleep because I kept hearing noises. So I was like, no, stop it. I need to, like...
Dude, I do the exact same thing. I just scare myself out of being able to sleep all the time.
Well, like, I was hearing noises from behind my house, and I'm like, what is that? Slender Man? So I'm just like...
Probably, like, your army of mice that live in back.
Okay.
Or under the stairs.
I haven't seen the mice recently, so I think they might have gone.
Yeah. It's also winter, so maybe they, like, burrowed somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe my neighbor did something about them. I'm not sure. I haven't seen one in a while. Because I used to see, like, 5 a day, so... I mean, it's a little sad in a way. I wonder what happened to them.
Yeah. All right. Pigtails tells Elena that the fungi kidnapped Nalu, and Nalu is the prince of Mermaidia. For those who don't remember him from his 10-second montage with Barbie from last movie.
And what I think is weird is she's like, oh, do we know her name? I don't remember.
No, she doesn't have a name.
Oh, she probably does.
Like, Elena literally, no, when she's talking to Nori, Elena's literally just like, that fairy, or whatever she called her.
It's called a sea butterfly. I wrote that down.
Oh, that's sea butterfly.
Because I was like, what is a sea butterfly? And I was like, what is she talking about?
We never see another one, so.
But I was like, a sea butter? And she's like, but she's a fairy. Like, I was like, at the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, she's a fairy. But then I was like, I guess she's
I kept referring to her as like a pixie because I wasn't sure.
But she's like an underwater fairy. So she's a sea butterfly. Yeah. Which I don't know what that is. But basically she says like, Elena is like, oh, we should get like a Zura or one of the gemmed special fairies of each region that I don't remember what they're called. And then the girl,
the Guardians,
that sounds right. She was like, there's no time. And I was like, is Elena really like as useful as like getting like a Zura?
She's got the rainbows in her eyes, girl. Like, so special. Yeah, but so, oh, and I guess Laverna isn't dead, even though we saw her explode into
she was
a lot
disintegrated,
of sparkles.
right? Like, she died.
Yeah, we were like, she died. What do you mean she's just been,
vanished,
exiled, or whatever?
Yeah, and like, I remember in the last episode, we actually went through all of the deaths of, or like, not the deaths, the end, what happened to the villains, like, at the end of their movies. And we were like, Laverna died. And so I was like, 100% I thought that she got killed.
Yeah, I was positive that she, like, was killed due to the power of rainbows and friendship. For reals.
So Elena decides to go, and she doesn't actually need that much convincing. And then she, like, makes Bibble go with her. And her friend...
Well, she makes Dandelion stay behind.
Oh, yeah, she tells Dandelion, you'll be in trouble with your mom if you go. And I'm like, what about Elena's mom? Yeah. Does she not have a mom?
Elena doesn't have a mom. She has a giant flower which sings her to sleep, and that's it.
I don't really get it. Maybe...
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I don't know. Also, do fairies have moms? I don't know. Is there male fairies? Did we see any? Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah, we've seen them.
Yeah. That one guardian was a man, right?
Ruby.
Oh, I'm surprised you remember that.
I don't know why I remember that. I think it's because he was so obsessed with being tall in the diagram that Laverne drew. Anyways,
they are all gems, right? Because Ruby's a gem. Azura might be a gem.
We definitely went over this in our actual episode of it. Okay. So I've just decided to be like, sure.
Azura, that's her name, right? Or is it Azula? It's not Azula. I'm thinking of Avatar.
No. Yes, it's Azura.
So Nalu is tied up by the fungus. And
I actually laughed at the line, "Hey, fungus, is it just me or is there something fishy about this guy?" I don't know. It's like I got a full ass chortle just like out of my nose, just like a.
I thought it was kind of funny how the main fungi wanted to be called Fungus Maximus.
I know. Fungus Maximus is also shorter and more disgusting than the rest of them.
And what I think is funny is Laverne calls him Max and like Max and that kind of stuff, and I'm like, she respects his fake nickname.
I know. Oh, God. It's so...
Is her name Laverne or Laverna? I don't remember.
I think it's Laverna.
Laverna?
I wrote down Laverna every single time.
So,
with an A
and then we
end.
get the reveal that he like picks up like a little communicator thing, and we find out...
I said a magic mirror.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say like a cell phone, but you're right. It's more like a mirror.
Yeah, it's basically.
And we learn the twist that Laverna's still alive and she's he's reporting to her. Fungus Maximus.
Yeah. Yes. Fungus Maximus. What a name, though. Okay, but I thought all the fungi were like clones or like hive minds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that there's like, this one looks different and like is different in attitude, does that mean he was like a mutated fungus?
I don't understand what the fungus are.
Or are they not? Yeah, okay. The fungus,
but they're kind
don't make any sense. Anyways.
They have their own thoughts though, kind of later in the movie, I feel like, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't know, I thought from the last movie, it felt like they were all kind of just like replaceable, like maybe like grown from something. I don't know.
I honestly don't really remember them in the first movie. Is that bad? They were there, right?
They were there.
In like Laverna's dungeon, or not, whatever. Cavern thing.
And that thing with a lot of cactuses around it.
Oh yeah.
General C words that begin with C.
So we remember that, or we learn that Laverna's goal is to get a magic berry that will make her imperviable.
Yes, called the the immunity berry.
That'll make her
invulnerable.
That's the word I'm looking for. I wrote down a word.
Don't worry, I wrote it down.
Of invulnerable to all magic. So her sister...
Past, present, and future, they say. Which I don't know what they mean by past, present, or future. Will it go back and, like, change time?
Well, maybe because she was, like, like, magically exiled, so, like, she won't be anymore.
Yeah.
But...
Just, like, the specificness of past, present, and future.
I guess, like, if they invent new magic,
like...
then she'll still be immune to it.
Yeah.
Because she wants to get revenge on her sister, but I forgot who her sister is. Is it Azura? No.
No, her sister is the Enchantress.
Oh, the Enchantress.
She didn't even show up in this movie.
Oh, that's probably why.
And she only showed up at the very end of the last movie because she was asleep for the whole first movie.
Is she the one who gave Elena the necklace or not?
Yes,
okay.
She gave her wings.
Okay. So, she basically, like, within a minute after Laverne is introduced, we, like, learn that she's basically going to double-cross Max after he gives her the berry. Because she was like, yeah, we'll, like, rule together. And then, like, she looks to the side, and then it's, like, it's very obvious that she's not going to, like...
And, like, she ends the call, and then she's just like, not.
And they're like they're not torturing, it's a Barbie movie, but they're like, they have Nalu tied up and they're like, oh, if you don't tell us where the berry is, like, and then he drips the poison into the water that starts like turning it green and making it foam and stuff.
It turns it all into like sludge, and then like yeah, so he uses that as leverage to get Nalu to show him where the immunity berry is. I had to look at my notes again. I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
what it was called.
The immunity berry.
Yeah. So Elena, the sea butterfly, and Bibble all fly to this area like just after Prince Nalu left, like with the gross fungi, and
we meet Nori, right?
Yes, and this is when we meet.
I like Nori. I think she's cool.
I like her too.
She's kind of annoying, but she's cool.
She makes some choices, but I do love the like enemies to friends kind of vibe that they have, like the or rivals, because Nori doesn't really like that like Elena's around. She's like,
yeah, she's like, we've had enough of your help. Like last time you were here, there were firebirds. Okay, it was firebirds. And so she's like, oh, like I don't need your help, and then she like swims away or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're like talking on the beach, right? Bibble. Is it Bibble?
And then Bibble is on the beach, and he like finds like a shell, and he's like hitting it, and then it turns into a turtle, so he's just slapping this turtle in the face.
Okay, the turtle,
like with his eyes closed because he's trying to make music.
The turtle's very creepy looking, I think.
The turtle is worse than the bear from the last movie.
The bear.
I'm just gonna... Yeah, remember... Sparkle.
The Shiver. I was gonna say, I remember in the last movie, Fairytopia, I was like, oh, that, what was it? Was it a butterfly that, like, they rode around on?
Yes.
I thought that thing was creepy.
What was his name?
But now that I've seen the turtle and the dolphin and the snail thing, I'm like, he was fine. All of
Hugh. Hugh was just fine.
All the animals in this movie are pink. They wear pearl necklaces for some reason.
Yes, to show that they are female.
Their femininity.
And their eyes are garbage. They are so bad. They're so terrifying.
Yeah.
I was like, and so much happens in this movie that like I had to keep pausing it to be able to write before something.
Yeah, I was
happened.
Writing so fast. That's why I kind of
like too much
made some mistakes. That's why like when we got to the part when we got to the part where like they started going underwater, I was like, oh, the movie must be like half over, and then I looked at it and I was only like 15 minutes in, and I was like, what?
Exactly. No, I remember exactly like doing the exact same thing where I like paused it to write something, and then I looked and I was like, we still have a whole hour left? What do you mean? Like,
yeah, so they're talking about how they need to get into the water, and then the turtle gives them the special seaweed that makes them breathe underwater, And
this is after Nori like leaves them behind. She's like, Nalu's in trouble. I'm gonna help him on my own.
Oh yeah, because she didn't know
then...
that he was in trouble. She was like, oh, like he's just hiding from me or whatever. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, she was like waiting for him.
But so she doesn't like Elena too because she feels like Nalu likes her, and she's like, she's loved him.
I like Nalu.
They're like, you know.
They're like romantic rivals.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was kind of funny that I don't know. It's kind of stupid, but like at least there's an interesting like dynamic. Because even though Nori's kind of like annoying, like I feel like Elena's just the boringest person of all time.
So boring. Oh my god.
So the turtle gives them the seaweed, and then I thought it was funny.
We see Bibble actually eat it. Oh
my god. But
we
don't see Elena eat it because she's holding it up and then it cuts away. It's like what you were saying about how we never see Barbie eat. So like Bibble doesn't want to eat it, but she's like, "Oh, you got to. It's not that bad." And then they go underwater.
And then
and the turtle leads them,
Bibble
right?
and the turtle are like, the turtle leads them to Mermaidia. And then there's like a jump scare with a dolphin because they do like the dolphin fin is like a shark fin, and they're like kind of playing the Jaws theme. And then, it's like, never mind, it's just a dolphin, it's chill. Like,
yeah, they're about to go.
And the dolphin's pink with pearls.
It matches the turtle
necklace.
And they're about to go somewhere, and then Bibble, somehow they learn about the Carousel of Confusion. Which like I think is funny that all of the places in the Barbie movies have like a very specific like name like this.
It's not just like the weird waters. Prince Nalu has taken the fungus to the Carousel of Confusion. We see like when Elena and like the dolphin and turtle and Bibble all like swim to the other direction to go to Mermaidia, that like it like keeps going through the other direction towards the Carousel of Confusion.
Okay.
And Prince Nalu is just leading them around in a circle.
This scene
ridiculous.
Is an iconic scene from my childhood. I don't know why, but we rewatched this scene a lot and we thought it was like super funny.
No, it's like I was gonna go insane if they had done, because what they do is they just repeat the scene like 3 times with like the same shots, and
that's what I was thinking.
Everyone's saying
like,
the same thing.
There was one like different shot, but then like I was like, wait, did they just reuse the same exact shot from the last like?
They did.
And I was like, oh no. But I thought this scene was like super funny. Like I remember I used to rewind it like when I was a kid.
I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go insane. But then Max figures it out. Fungus Maximus, that is Max. He figures it out. He's like, you're in big trouble. We're going back to the surface. We're going to figure out where this immunity barrier is. And then I just say, poor Prince Nalu. He's in big trouble.
And Elena and stuff may go to Mermaidia, and these little mermaid things are playing with Bibble, right? Or wait,
yeah, they're the oh gosh, what are they? The something fairies.
I wrote down somewhere, I think.
Me too.
They had wings and a tail, right?
Yes. And this is where we learn that Nori has a crush on Nalu, but says she can't marry him because she's just a commoner.
Oh, I guess they're called merfairies.
Okay. And then the merfairies tell her that it's fine, they're gonna get together because they are MFEO.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember
which stands for what?
I don't remember.
Made for each other. I hate it. I hate it.
Which I think is kind of... I think Nalu and Nori's relationship is kind of cute. We'll get to it later in the relationship category.
Oh god, our relationship category.
Yeah, you haven't forgotten, right? So,
no.
I said that I think Nori's voice is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I like Nori in general. I think she's a good character.
So basically, like, Elena's like, see, look, I did make it, like, you suck, or whatever. And then Nori's like, okay, fine, you can, like, come with me because I need you because I can't go to the Merfairies' house to ask them where Nalu is?
A question to be serious. Yeah, because, okay, so the Merfairies are literally never serious. They just want to play. But if you get them to invite you in for a snack and they're sitting down at their table, they will answer one question for you. And so since they fell in love with Bibble, they're like, we want to make Bibble a snack. And then Elena's like, can I come? Because Bibble wants me there. And Bibble's like, yeah, I do. And then so she goes and gets a snack. And then so she's able to ask where Delphi is.
Oh, Delphine?
Who is like an oracle.
Oh,
yeah, Delphine.
Yeah, because okay, Nori tells her to ask where the oracle is so they can find where Nalu is, right? But why? Oh, I guess the Merfairies probably wouldn't know where Nalu is. Is that why?
No, because they're not psychic like the oracle, I guess.
Okay, yes. So, she gives Bibble a whole cake, and then she gives Barbie cookies.
Yeah. And Bibble literally, like, puts himself inside the cake. He, like, eats a hole into it, and then the cake's just, like, animated shaking, kind of. It's not great. It's kind of...
I noticed that.
It's, like, the opposite of Vor.
And I thought it was funny because she had, like, an already made cake that she just took out of the cabinet.
Yeah. She's not gonna make you a snack. She's just gonna, like, bring you a snack that she already has.
And actually, so she says, here, though, she gives Barbie a plate of cookies, and Barbie does eat one cookie. We see her eat one cookie. So that's, like, the only thing she can eat, really, that I feel like they know how to animate. Because with the seaweed, they were like, just cut away. We don't know how to make her eat the seaweed.
It's too much. Okay,
and
she can tell the future, and
the Merfairy gives her a riddle about where to find Delphine.
Yeah, and something about the ferry crossing. So they have to, like, so they race to get to it.
Oh, the race scene was one of my favorite scenes, I'd say.
It was great.
Because it's, like, a little competitive. Nori's swimming, and then Elena's flying above her, you know, they're racing. And I was kind of thinking, like, their colors, like, Nori's blue, and she's, like, pink reddish kind of. And, like, do you ever hear about how people always say, like, the ships that they ship are red and blue colors?
Yeah, I like Nori and Elaine better than Nori and Nalu. Not gonna lie, I was gonna get to that eventually.
Oh, because I was thinking, like, I don't know, people, like, you know, you haven't seen Steven Universe, have you? Well, like, Ruby and Sapphire together, and, like, everyone ships, like, Zuko and Katara, right? It's kind of like that. Yeah. Like, the opposites attract, kind of.
Yeah, red and blue are just good together.
And, like, right after they go over, like, a waterfall, they're both falling down, like, the waterfall, and then they, like, look at each other and smile, and I'm like, oh, this is cute, like, the competition, but it's, like, friendly competition.
Yeah. So they make it to the ferry crossing, and then they get on... And then, so the Merfairies had this thing where they're like, you gotta, ask, like, it's something about the shell. The shell is what, like, matters.
I guess I should have written down the riddle, but it was very confusing and long.
Yeah, I didn't write down it either. And so, this, like, river slug has a shell on its back.
It's not is it a snail?
It's like, I guess it's a snail if it has a shell on its back,
but
it's a clam shell.
It's a clam shell. It's not like a...
Which is not how, like, a snail's body works. And it's got the tail of it on the other end.
It is a slug.
It's slug.
It just has a shell on its back, I guess.
Yep. And then, so, like, the slug's like, oh, you want to see inside my shell? And then she, like, goes down to the bottom, and they follow her. And the shell opens, and it's got a whole castle inside, and a little merfairy.
She's living inside
and a little
the shell.
Merfairy. She's living in there, just chilling. And then she's like, they're like, oh, the oracle. And then they're like, how do we find Nalu? And then she's just spouting off, like, weird little bits of wisdom, like, 2 sand crabs and 1 sand crab in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, or whatever. And, like, she's obviously not the oracle. She's just, like, weird. And then so Elaine's like, oh, this slug is Delphi. Or Delphia? Is that what it is?
I think it's Delphine.
Delphine. Okay. And then
Yeah, she goes over
Elaine with her goddamn
she goes
eye
over
rainbows.
to the snail thing, and she like looks. She's like, "Oh, I think you're the Oracle," and then like her eyes do the rainbow thing, and I was like,
"Yeah, that rainbow shine thing for the first
that's
movie."
like the only time they bring up that she has the rainbow in her eyes in this movie, right?
Yeah,
so it's like a little
it's
nod
like,
to the last movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so she's like, "You guys need to prove yourselves. I'm not gonna just tell you where he is." It's just like rude. And so they have to go. I actually did write this down. I just need to find it. Okay. Delphine tells Nori and Elaine that they have to travel to the depths of despair and seek out the Mirror of the Mist because everything has to be
That's what I was saying.
alliterative.
They all have these little names, like the Mirror of the Mist, the Despair, Depths of Despair.
And then Nori's like, "Nobody does that." And then, and then the slug's like, "You're gonna need a tail to do that." And then Elaine's like, "How do I do that?" And she's like, "You have to give up your wings to get a tail."
Yeah, and then she's like, "I just got my wings. I can't give them up."
Yeah. Anyways,
so they say that, or Delphine says that for them to get to the mirror, they're gonna have to rely on each other, and they'll have to make sacrifices. So she gives her, in case she decides that she does need to give up her wings for a tail, she gives her like this special pearl necklace that like, if she wishes,
because everything's pearls.
You're right. There's a lot of random pearls in this movie. If she wishes to trade her wings for a tail, then it will happen. And then she has until the pearls turn back to white.
White again. Because they turn blue when you make the wish. And then once they all turn white again, then you're stuck with either a tail if you're underwater, or if you get to dry land in time, then you get wings. And so that seems kind of arbitrary. And it's like, it's a ticking clock that like doesn't really tell you when the time is over either. It's just like you kind of gotta watch like this necklace on your neck that you can't even see, because like that's not how necklaces work. Like if she puts her chin down, then she just can't see it. Like somebody else has to be there telling her, "Oh shit, it's the last blue one. You gotta go, babe."
Then they leave for traveling to the depths of despair, and then we go back to the fungus, and they're still
flash sideways
to the fungus, and they're still trying to get Nalu to tell them where the immunity berry is, and then he's like, "Oh, it's down there," and he's like pointing to a whirlpool, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to go down there."
He literally just says, "That way." I wrote that down in quotes because I loved it so much. He's so sassy.
Nalu's very sassy.
I love Nalu. He's a fave. He's just good. And then Laverne calls Max again on her enchanted mirror. And it makes like a cell phone ring sound, so it's like definitely meant to be a cell phone, but they're like, "Oh shit, it's fantasy. We can't just have a cell phone. How are we gonna do this?" And they're just like, "Make a mirror cell phone." Anyways, I say the whirlpool seems dangerous, but they go down anyway because it's the way to do it. Oh, and then we flash back sideways the other way. You know, when you're doing the cha-cha slide and you slide to the left and then you slide to the right, we're sliding back to the right. And the depths of despair, when we looked at them, they look so much to me like, do you remember like that show House?
I don't think I've ever watched it.
In the first couple seasons, they do things wherever like House was like diagnosing people. It would be this like weird 3D animated like journey into the body, and then you can see like the like blood vessels and like and like see what the problem is. And like it looked like one of those diagrams. It like looked weird and gross and like wrong in terms of 3D-ness. Anyways, if anybody watches House, they'll understand what I mean, I think. But they haven't watched this movie, or please don't watch this movie.
It's not that bad.
I'm not recommending this one. It's not that bad. But you'd have to watch Fairytopia to then watch this one.
Fairytopia is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fairytopia's.
Then we go back to the depths of despair. Oh wait, we're already there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. So, Nori's telling Elena that no one's ever come back up from the depths of despair, which like seems unrealistic because they didn't have that hard of a time to get down there.
But also, like, why would anyone go down there?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like...
Well, maybe, like, if the oracle doesn't tell you to go, then it's just, like, gonna, like, kill you or whatever. I don't know. Because, like, something about the vines... Okay, well, basically, the current's too strong, so Nori's like, okay, like, you wait here, and then I'll come back and tell you what the mirror says. But then as soon as she starts to go down, one of the plants, like, grabs her, and then... traps her in like a cage of seaweed.
A seaweed cage.
Yeah. And she's like yelling for help and calling for help. And then Elena's trying to swim down, but the current's too strong and she can't do it. So she's like, okay, I gotta like use the pearls and wish for a tail. So she does.
Yeah, so she wishes to change her wings for a tail using the power of saying it 3 times and the necklace. There's something about saying, like, everyone always uses 3. Something so, like, everything feels, like, finished after 3, you know? Anyway, she gets she gets Nori out, and I think that she's prettier as a mermaid.
Yeah, I kind of think so, too.
I really like her tail and stuff. I think it's really cute.
She doesn't have a traditional mermaid tail. It's like a...
a butterfly wing as, like,
it's like a...
as the
I don't
flipper.
know how to describe that shape. It's kind of like a...
Scalloped.
Yeah, but it's... You know how the tail... Okay, for the people that never watched this movie, normally mermaid tails split into 2 halves, right? But it's just one piece all connected. It's like a triangle tail, kind of. And it has, scalloped edges. It's like a diamond, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And that,
yeah,
and
I
it
guess
has, like, scalloped edges. But, like, Nori has a normal traditional tail. Yeah, and she got an outfit change, too. She has, like, a new shirt. And she has, like, a little, like, she looks different.
You gotta be able to sell as many different versions of Elena as possible.
Yeah, she has, like, little roses on her arms, too, and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's very nice.
So...
New look.
Yeah, so they get down there. She's like, oh my god, your tail. And it's like, there's a weird pufferfish at the bottom and a weird clamshell. And the pufferfish is like... You guys made it down here. You may now ask the Mirror of the Mist, like, one question. Are you sure you want it to be, like, not about, like, your love life or not about what you're meant to be? Like, and they're like, no, Nolly's more important. And she's like, okay. And so the mirror opens. It's, like, a little compact. I swear, I think I had, like, I'm pretty sure I had it as, like, a little toy when I was younger. Like, because there's, like, these little light bulbs on it and it looks a little bit like a vanity. And it brought back some sense memories to me of, like, I think I had a little Barbie mirror that looked just like that, you know? Oh. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a different Barbie thing. Point is, we love Barbie. And I'm trying to get back to my notes because my phone turned off. Okay, I got it. Anyway, so they're like, okay, no, we want to find Nalu. And then she's like, and they're like, how do we do that? And because they see him, like, hanging upside down, like, he's, like, trapped by the fungus, and, like, they've taken him out of the water, and they're like, oh no, he'll die if he's out of the water for too long. He'll dry out. I think they said he'll dry out, which is, like, an interesting concept. And then, so the pufferfish is like, here, and then she makes, like, a magic bubble that, like, is gonna lead the way. So they, like, start following the bubble all the way up. Bibble's like, oh my god, your tail. And she's like, will you take over from here? My brain's not working anymore.
Okay, yeah, they start following the bubble beacon, and, like, then we go sideways again to the fungus trying to find the special berry. I don't remember really what happens in this scene. I just know they're looking for the berry. I didn't actually write that much about this scene. Oh, okay. Yeah, he hasn't gotten it yet. They're just, like, looking for it. Then we go back to Elena and Nori, and they, like, get little tattoos on their arms that showed
that
courage, they have the crest of courage for going into the depths of despair.
Each in their own color.
Yeah. And
then the magic bubble pops once they get to these crazy, like, geysers in a cave.
So, like, they're about to go through the geysers, and then the bubble pops, and then they're like, Elena's like, oh, we should go to the land or whatever, to the air, because that's where we saw Nalu as he was above water. And then Nori was like, I think he was in a different place, but to get there we have to go through these geysers. And then like Elena's like, no, I'm not going in there, it's too scary, we're gonna get incinerated. And I don't remember exactly what happens,
and then
but Nori
and then Nori, she's like, do you trust me? And then Elena's like, yeah, but I don't really trust me.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, takes her hand, and she's like, we'll do it together.
It's very
so
Aladdin, right? Because that's when he's like, do you trust me?
Yeah, it's very like action movie-y also. It's super fun.
Oh yeah, it's very like an intense moment for them to like go through the geysers. They're like trying to time it, and they're like shooting out, and then like and she's like, stop, okay, go, and like all this kind of stuff. But then they get to the end and they're like, we did it, Bibble. Bibble's in the middle of the geysers because he can't hold on to Elena's shoulder, apparently. Why didn't they just like
didn't
carry
notice that he let go?
Bibble?
Why would they do anything that made sense with Bibble? I don't think. I'm just very tired.
It's just
of
always
Bibble.
in these movies, there's always like the animal sidekick gets stuck and they need to go back for him.
Yep. Basically. Anyway, so Nori goes back. She gets Bibble. Gets out safe. They keep going. And she refers to him as a little soft-boiled. And I'm like, that sounds like a good way to refer to the fact that Bibble's, like, dumb as hell. Oh, he's a little soft-boiled. So, yeah. So that's what I'm going to say from now on. And then the next scene is they're in a very pretty cave with lots of magic fruit. And Elena's like, you're in love with Nala, aren't you? Ooh. And then Nori's like, I think he's in love with someone else.
And then Elena's like, really? Elena? Who? And I'm like, Elena, come on.
Girl.
You're so stupid. I mean, like.
She's so bad.
I'm just. Okay, yeah. So she's like talking about how all the berries have like different magical properties. Like one of them will reveal your true self. And then one of them makes you speak backwards.
One of them will make you talk backwards.
Yeah. And like, then Bibble starts like just eating them randomly.
And then he's like, no, tell me those aren't poisonous. And then he's singing.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like
opera.
yodeling and he sings opera.
Oh my god. And then the worst, he has like this deep Barry Manilow voice and like is calling all the fruit baby. And he's like, oh, hey, baby. Like,
that's what I was saying. Do you remember a long time ago when we were recording, I told you Bibble speaks?
I do remember that.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. I hate it, but also I like it better than Bibble's normal voice.
I think it's weird that I think everyone can understand Bibble, right? Or is it just Elena?
Yeah. No, I think they can all understand him. Because he'll, like, talk to different people and
I don't
stuff.
get it.
And, like, Dandelion can understand him.
I think...
Because at the end, he's, like, telling her the story, and she's like, oh, really? Oh,
you're right.
Like, so...
Yeah. His species is puffball, so...
Yes. Puffball species. Anyways, then they use Bibble and his singing voice to distract the fungus that are guarding Nalu. A fungus calls opera funky, and they follow Bibble and his beautiful voice.
But before they follow him, they confess their love to each other.
Yes. So
he's like, oh, I love you, man.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I love you.
I love you
And then
too.
they start they're like, we gotta, and Bibble starts to go away, and they're like, we gotta hear more of that beautiful music. So then they like just leave Nalu. They're like, oh, you won't escape, right? And then they just like leave.
They're like, stay there. Chill out for a little longer. Hang tight, bro. Oh god, it's because Nalu's hanging upside down from 2 ropes.
Oh.
So seaweed ropes. So hang. Get it?
Hang.
Anyways, they save Nalu with 2 very sharp shells. Like they jump up and they cut him down, and he's like, "Yay!" And then he's like, "No, but like Max is trying to get the immunity berry," and then Bibble's normal voice comes back, and so the fungi start like chasing him out of the cave.
He's all
back
like
towards the
Nalu's
other guys.
like, "Oh my gosh, you're a mermaid!" Because yeah, and then is this one Laverne makes a call to Max, and then the berry's behind him, and then he like picks it up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so he gets the berry. He found the right one. And then, so he's coming out and he's like, I got the berry, haha. And then, Nalu's like, Bibble, get that berry. And then, so Bibble, like, gets it, and then it's, like, flying up in the air. And, then Max is like, Fungus, get the berry. And then the two funguses, like, run into each other, and, like, Elena catches the berry, and then they're playing, like, a whole game of, like,
and then they're,
keep
like,
away.
on a manta
while all
ray,
fungus in the water.
Like, now they're chasing them on a manta ray.
Yeah. And then Elena only has one blue pearl left also. So, like, lots of things are happening
it's
at
like
once.
such a coincidence that all these things are happening at once.
Yay.
Because I was like, oh, like, as soon as they get out of the depths of despair, should Elena just go to the land? Because she doesn't need her mermaid tail anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess, like...
Yeah, no, they don't...
If they wasted that time, then he would have gotten the berry, but, like, they wouldn't have known that. You know? It's, like, such a
And I mean,
coincidence.
also... The other thing is that Nori could have totally just gone on her own.
Yeah.
Like, after that point, like, Elena doesn't need to help. You know? Anyways... So Bibble's just throwing a bunch of fruit at the guys at one point, which I thought was funny. That he's just like chucking
Elena's, she's trying to get to the surface as fast as possible, and she still has the berry. And
so she swims up a waterfall, which was like very chill, very Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because in Breath of the Wild, if you're wearing a specific like suit, you can like.
Yeah, and then she like jumps on a rock, like right, and then like Max just like
he's like, I did it.
Out of the other side of the waterfall, and he's like
of literally just nowhere. I don't know how he knew where she was going to be or got up there or like
and so
anything.
He's holding the bottle of poison. He's like, if you don't give me the berry, I'm just going to drop this in the waterfall, and like it's going to poison everything.
I'm going to kill all of Mermaidia. Like destroying an entire civilization. Like, okay, making it so fairies are like too tired to fly, and that's like trapping them in their homes so they can't like do anything, and then taking over power and then becoming a ruler is like one thing, but the entire genocide of a race is like a totally separate bad thing.
He would kill like multiple species.
Yeah, it's like pollution's bad, Laverne. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so she's like, oh, I'm gonna sacrifice the berry because I don't want the poison to go in the water. And then he's like, haha, whatever. And then he drops the bottle of poison. And as soon as as soon as the pearl is timing out, she jumps back in the water, and she like, as it's falling, the bottle opens, and then she caps the bottle,
clutches it,
and then she grabs it, and then she goes back into the water. And then like
so then she has to be a mermaid. She's
holding the vial underwater, which like still seems very dangerous, but I guess it doesn't leak.
Oh yeah.
And then she starts crying.
It's a very tight seal.
She's lost her wings and she has to have a tail forever, which like isn't that bad. I feel like.
But I mean, I guess as like a wingless fairy, at least she like, you know, had all her same friends and everything.
Yeah.
Like, this is a completely different life. Like, she's never lived as a mermaid. She doesn't know anyone except for Nalu and Nori.
But at least, like, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, I guess you're right. Yeah. Because I guess she wouldn't be able...
She could be dead.
She couldn't, like, be able to tell her friends, I guess, what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Bibble could. But, like, they could still visit her. She just can't visit them. I feel like that's the sad part about being a mermaid. They're really separated from the fairies. Yeah. Because, like, the fairies need to go to the water. They can't leave.
Yeah. Anyway, so we find out, like, because, like, Prince Nalu's like, if only it hadn't been for nothing, because now Max has the immunity berry, and, like, ugh. And then Elena and Nori are like, well, we switched the berries because the berry that reveals your true self looks a lot like the immunity berry, but it doesn't have a red stripe, so they painted a red stripe at some point during that, like, crazy keep away game. They painted a red stripe on the berry.
Do we see that? I feel like we see them pass each other the berry, but I don't know if we know that it's a fake one.
I don't remember. I think I was looking, like, I think I was writing a note at that time, like, if
they do
was
have this
in there,
one clip kind of where Nori and Elena are swimming side by side and they kind of like look at each other, so I'm like, maybe that's when they exchanged the berry. But I don't know if we actually saw that, you know. I think it's like later we learn that they switched the berry. So then Nori gives Elena the berry that reveals your true self, which I think is kind of interesting because I thought that the berry would make you like tell the truth, but I guess it transforms you into like what your true self
into
is.
who you are inside, which is a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah, like, very confusing. And like Nori's trying to like boost Elena up, and she's like, oh, like if you're truly meant to be a fairy, then I'll turn you into a fairy, and like if it doesn't turn you back, then like you're still meant to be a mermaid, like, you know, it's gonna be okay and stuff. And then
and then Elena's like, but what if I turn into a fairy without wings? And then she's like, would that really be that bad? You'd still have all your friends and stuff, and you'd still be a great dude, and your bravery. And Elena's like, a great dude. You know how like Barbie talks.
That's how they talk in the Barbie movies. It's a great dude.
Great
and
dude.
then she has a very long transformation sequence where like you don't know what's happening. You're like, is she gonna get a tail? Is she gonna get wings? Like for a second I was like, it kind of looked like she was gonna keep her tail, but then she didn't. So then she like jumps out of the water and she has like bigger, prettier wings than she did before.
Giant butterfly wings, because her old wings were like fairy wings that were like translucent, like very like pointy tips and all that kind of thing. But now she has like butterfly wings that are pink with like solid, lighter pink, like monarch kind of colors. So like there's a darker magenta as like the black parts of a monarch. And then light pink as like the orange parts. It's very pretty.
Yeah, I think they're prettier than her old wings. Very, very nice.
Oh yeah,
and
for
then,
sure.
Nalu's like, oh, I'm like, I'm so glad for you. And then Nori's like, why? I thought you were in love with Elena. Very blunt, like.
Yeah.
And then Elena's like, no, Nalu's in love with you. And then they're like, oh
holding hands.
Yeah, and they're like, you're in love with me? Oh my gosh.
I'm in love with you.
Yeah. Crazy. It's a very like cheesy, but it's kind of cute.
And I said, oh no, I don't think they're as cute as Elena and Nori.
Okay, but I'm glad that they didn't go with Elena and Nalu just because they barely interacted at all in any of these movies.
Yeah.
And like she's like, oh no, we're just friends. And I'm like, it's kind of nice because like this is the first Barbie movie I feel like where there's a romance that she's not involved in, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess like with Princess and the Pauper, there's like both of them, but they're like both Barbie, you know?
Yeah, and they're both like the leads. Like,
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's like a little bit of different relationship this time because they're like childhood friends. So I think I like the childhood friends relationships.
I like okay,
I think they're good.
Me.
So I was like, oh, it's cute. And then we go sideways to
sideways.
Laverne and Max is like, oh look, I got the berry for you, like eat it and become invulnerable or whatever. And then she eats it and then she transforms into like a toad.
Because it's the one that reveals your true self, and apparently her true self is a tiny little gross toad with a cape and a bouffant hairdo. Yeah, and so she like swears revenge on Elena.
Yeah. Oh well, because when Max is like, oh, I took this berry, like, oh, I thought this was the real berry. I took it from Nori and Nalu and Elena, and then she's like, what? Elena was involved in this? Because this whole time she didn't know Elena was, you know, against them with Nalu. So like she's like, I'm gonna get you for this, Elena, if it's the last thing I do.
Yeah.
So I think there is a third movie for the Fairytopia franchise, but I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get to it. Okay,
but
and then
but I don't know if she's the villain in the next one because she's a toad now. So I don't know.
Maybe it's Toad over now. Anyway, so we back to the Fairytopia like meadow, the magical meadow that they live in. Daffodil's there, and then Azura comes, and she's like, "Oh, I haven't come got you yet."
Does nothing in this whole movie. I don't even know why she shows up at the end.
literally nothing. I guess just as like a callback to
Yeah,
Azura
she's like,
existing.
congratulations, Elena and Bibble, you guys are so brave, and then she like leaves.
Yeah,
like Elena's like, do you want to have dinner with us? And she's like, no, I'm busy.
I'm busy. But I'm sure Daffodil wants to hear all about it.
And then she just like leaves. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really understand why she was there, but I guess they were like...
I said, Azura, what a bad friend. Like, that was my second to last note. And then my last note is, Bibble is a liar, because he's talking himself up to Daffodil, being like, oh, I knew, like, I was like, did all this stuff. And and we just know from Daffodil being like, oh, really? Yeah. And you remembered the seaweed? Wow, that's so impressive, Bibble.
Yeah, and then they fly into a rainbow, and then it fades away.
Yep. And that's end credits. I didn't see any bloopers, though.
Yeah, there's no bloopers, I don't think. I did say that at the end of the bloopers, there's a quote from Barbie, and it says, trust your true self.
Oh, at the end of the credits?
Yeah. But okay, I don't remember if she says that in the movie. She must, right?
I guess so.
The quote was attributed to Barbie, not Elena, so.
Well, then it must have just been Barbie letting us know, hey, you be you.
Okay, and then at the end of the movie, since I had the DVD, it started playing more trailers, and it showed me one for Polly Pocket World, which is the first Polly Pocket movie that's coming in 2006, and it's a 2D movie. It's not 3D like these ones.
Hell yes.
Also, there was an ad for Barbie.com, and it made me have flashbacks.
I miss Barbie.com so much. Wait. Oh, the games on there. The games. They were beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah. I used to waste hours doing those online games.
I love
like Disney.com and stuff. Barbie.com.
Yes. All right. Are we going to rate this thing?
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with plot.
I said 4.
Yeah, I said... What did I say? I think I said 4 also. Yes, I said 4 also.
Because this one definitely had a more interesting plot than Fairytopia. Mm-hmm. But it was also, like, them going to have to go into the depths of despair and all that, like, was just stupid stuff, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, they just kept sending them on, like, weird missions.
Yeah, I rated it higher than Magic of the Pegasus, but it felt very Magic of the Pegasus to me in terms of them having to just, like, oh, go do this thing. Now go do this thing. Now go do this thing. No, like, go do this thing.
I would say the interactions when they were doing the things were more interesting, but, like, the weird, like, why, did they have to do all that random stuff?
Yeah, no, it didn't really make that much sense to me.
How did the sea butterfly know that Nalu was wrapped up by the fungus? She must have seen
apparently
it happen,
he told
right?
her. Yeah,
because
said
if he told her,
go get Elaine. Yeah,
then wouldn't she know where he is?
Yeah, but he was gone by the time they got back.
I guess that's true.
Because remember, he was at those tidal pools, and then and then he wasn't there. Like, they had already gone back into the water. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So are you writing down? Do you write it down?
I'm writing them down.
Okay.
I'm writing them down.
Oh, I forgot characters. I knew I was forgetting a category. Okay,
I gave them a 6.
5.
Nice, yeah. That's what you rated last Fairytopia also. I liked Nori and I liked Nalu a lot.
Oh.
So I kind of just went with they felt...
Do you have all the ratings?
They felt very different.
Do you have all the ratings?
Yeah.
What's the highest character rating we've given?
8.
Okay, I'm gonna go 6 then.
Okay.
I think I do really like Nori and Nalu, because Nalu's he's sassy and fun. He's not as boring as all the other male princes.
Exactly. He's got some actual oomph to him.
And then Nori's also pretty sassy and not normal. She's at least she's kind of competitive, but she's a different personality. Even though she's a little bit she can be mean at times, she's not a bad person.
Yeah, exactly. And then I said 3 for art.
I said I'm gonna go 4.
4? Okay, cool.
I don't think that it was basically the same as Fairytopia. I don't really think they made any like improvements really that I could see.
Yeah. You rated 3 for Last Fairytopia, if that changes anything.
No, I'll just stay with 4.
Okay, cool.
Or should I keep it the same?
No, it's fine. Because, I mean, I said 3 for Last Fairytopia also, but then I changed, but then for Magic of the Pegasus, I said 4, and you said 4 also.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure they're improving slightly over time.
Yeah, exactly.
There wasn't really any, like, major problems I had with this movie.
Yeah.
I did think some of the character designs were pretty... Well, the character designs were pretty ugly. Would you put that in art?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe...
Okay, but wait,
I think I'm going to go to 3, because I think that the Merfairies and the...
Oh, the god, they were
the other things...
beings.
The sea butterflies were very hideous looking.
Yeah. And that turtle?
Yeah. No,
turtle?
I guess I haven't really thought about the character designs as part of art, but now that I think about it, like, I don't know why they didn't just use Kelly's as the base for the
The Kellys are great. They look
at least
fine.
They look like normal proportioned toddlers.
Yes.
They're not like weird like I don't even know what the Merfairies and the sea butterflies like.
They almost looked like they were trying to make Polly Pockets into Barbies. I don't know if that makes sense, but...
It's weird. When I saw them, I was like, did I have one of these as a doll? Like, I feel like I did. They looked very familiar, but I feel like it might have been a different brand that was maybe, like, either they were trying to copy or, you know, like, one of them was trying to copy each other. Because it did look kind of different than, like, the Barbie style. Also, they had really big, like... Well, I don't know what you'd really call it. Like, the underneath their, like, eye... Not eye bags, but, like, the puff under your eye.
Yeah.
It was, like, very thick and weird. It was like they had, like, very puffy eyes.
It was just weird all around. I'm not a fan.
Like, I don't know. So, these movies, they really make some hideous animal and, like, character choices. Like, the snail thing was very creepy looking.
Yeah, I like the snail better than the dolphin and the, and the other thing, though.
Actually, I didn't look too much at the dolphin, but how did the dolphin's face look? Did it have big eyes, too? It looked better than
the turtle. Yes,
because the turtle's face was very ugly.
Oh, it's because it doesn't, like, have any option for, like, a human nose, so it looked very Voldemort-esque to me. It looked like Voldemort's eyes were, like, enlarged and then given, like, falsies.
Yeah. The Merfairies had very weird, like, makeup, kind of, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and Atlanta's face was still weird. Like, that's definitely... It's like, maybe it's Barbie's model, but they put, like... The way they did the eyeshadow just shapes her forehead different. Because I remember we had a problem with that last time also.
Yeah. I did think Nori was pretty.
Yes, Nori is very pretty.
Nala
I liked
looked
her
like
outfit.
alright. I don't know.
Yeah. He looked different from other Kens, which I liked.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Now that I think... Now I'm just trashing all the characters in this movie because they're all kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Like, the fungus obviously are supposed to be ugly, so, like, I don't have that much problem with them. But, like, the turtle and the dolphin and the snail and stuff, they were, like, supposed to be cute, but they were just very, like, disturbing looking.
Yep. I was not a fan.
This makes me think of, in an upcoming movie that I watched, I think it's Barbie Island Princess. Mm-hmm. It's very much like this because it's, like, Barbie is Tarzan, she's, like, living in the jungle, and she's raised by animals, but, like, all the animals have, like, mascara and, like, they have, like, pink lips or whatever. I don't think... They're not pink, though. I think they're, like... I'm trying to remember. Maybe they are pink. All I remember is there's an elephant. That's a major character.
Oh, God, no.
I just hate...
All right. I will prepare myself for it.
The animal characters in these movies. Like, there's a crab that looks normal, but, like, besides that, like, they all look super weird.
God. Yeah, because, I mean, okay, Swan Lake's animals... They were not that crazy. You know, they weren't like this normal bad.
Animal. Like, why were they all pink in this movie?
Barbie pink. Barbie, girl like pink, Barbie. Yes, Barbie girl.
It's just like, would anyone want to buy those things as toys?
I don't know. I don't think so.
They're terrifying.
All right. Shall we continue?
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go 3 then.
Okay, me too.
Maybe I should
Artie's
even go
threes.
2 because I kind of hated that movie. The art in that movie. I'm like,
okay,
these characters.
let's do it.
Fine, I'll go 2.
2
something
and
about the Merfairies.
I'm gonna give it 2 also. You convinced me.
Yeah, because I originally said 5, but then because I was just thinking about the animation, but I was like, they had to sketch out and like design those characters, and they like made them hideous for no reason.
Yeah, none of them are really good. All I like is like the bodice on Nori's top, and Nori's hair is pretty good too.
I did like Elena's mermaid outfit. Like that design was cute.
But like one design out of the entire movie, like
yeah, but
all
the other characters were very weird looking.
Yeah.
Also, we really didn't see. I was just gonna say we didn't really see any like Barbie models because like Nori and Elena were the only like I guess staff. What's their name? Dandelion.
I think it's Dandelion.
They were like they look like Barbies, right? But everyone else in the movie was like a different type of character. I guess Laverna kind of looks like a Barbie, but she's like a villain. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they're not gonna make her
pretty.
Yes, or even make her as a doll. I don't think.
I wonder if they did.
I don't think they make the villain dolls, but I don't know.
Well, they're not gonna make a fungus doll, but.
No, gosh, I sure hope not.
Actually, what I was thinking is I had a mermaid doll, and I actually looked it up last night because I was like, the thing about my mermaid doll, which I noticed is, Elena's tail is that specific shape, and I was like, my mermaid doll like didn't look like that. She was pink, so I thought it was Elena, but she had the two-sided tail, and you know how Nori has like kind of patterns on her tail? She had those patterns on her tail, but she was like blonde and pink. So I was like, it must be Elena. But then I looked it up, and I guess it's just a Barbie Mermaidia doll, but it's not like a doll from the movie. It's just like a random mermaid doll.
Yeah, I had a Barbie mermaid doll, but it wasn't for Mermaidia. It came out like way before Mermaidia, and so it was like this like plasticky, like this jelly plastic tail that like moved and bent. Like. And you could, like, press the sides of it. It would go...
Oh. Was it like a bat toy?
Yeah. See, like, it was a Barbie, but it was, like... And it had pink hair and a green tail. And I think she had a seashell bra, but I can't remember.
Well, mine had, like, she didn't have a shirt. She just had, like, a bra that you, like, click on and it's plastic. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was, like... She, like... Elena's wearing, like, a full shirt. So I was like, that doesn't look like her. So I guess... I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was a Mermaidia doll, though. Like, I think it was... promotional material. I was like looking through all the dolls last night, and they had like a bunch of like they had Nori, but then they had like 2 other mermaid girls that had names, and I was like, I don't remember any other mermaids like in the movie.
No, I don't remember them either.
Maybe they just like...
I don't think there were them.
Yeah.
There.
I don't think so.
Yes. I don't think so.
Maybe they just made up... They're basically just like Nori, but like, they like colored them differently, so they had like different colors. It was basically the same doll, but recolored.
Yeah. It sounds like Disney.
It's not Disney. Not Disney,
Mattel.
Oops. They're not the same.
I'm just always hating on Disney, so I guess that's all I'm able to do now.
I'm still scared of Disney. I know we talked about that last time. I think.
Yeah. And last time we talked on the phone also.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why when I asked you if you're scared of Disney.
Yeah.
Because we were me and Emma were discussing how Disney bought Fox and stuff, and I was like, what does that all mean? Because I've been actually watching The Simpsons on Disney Plus, and I was like, it's so weird that Disney owns The Simpsons now.
Oh, yeah. No. It's very weird.
It's kind of disturbing. Like, they own everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're not safe.
It's big fear. No one is safe. Not while Disney's running around buying up lives.
Okay, what about villain?
Okay, so for villain... I think I said, 2.
I said 3.
Okay.
Because it just didn't feel like... I thought she died. They didn't explain how she didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, the fungi weren't really fun.
Yeah, I mean, at least there's, a slightly new dynamic, but not really, because the fungus was basically just, the other villain. Wasn't there another, troll, villain in one of these? Oh, maybe I'm thinking about the Rat King.
Yeah. So we had Rat King. We had, Gothel. We had
Odile and her
Odile
father.
and her dad. Odile and dad.
Yeah.
Preminger. Laverna. And then I forget what the dude's name in Magic of the Pegasus was.
Oh yeah, the guy with all the the fungus. I still feel like look like his wives. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, maybe that's why I thought of it.
Yeah, the wives do look like
in
fungus.
a lot of these movies. They're like, maybe I'm thinking about the fungus from the old movie because I knew someone had henchmen, but I just don't remember like which one it was. But they're like the fungus are very disposable, and also they all go by fungus except Max. So.
Yeah, and he's just the maximum fungus.
Which they don't quite explain what they are, but
he's fungus to the max.
So yeah, it's pretty average, I'd say.
He's pretty fly for a fun guy. So for villain, I said 2, and you said 3. For dialogue, what do you think? I'm gonna say 5, if that helps.
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay.
I mean, it was good.
4 and 5.
Pretty average.
Yeah. And then romance, what do you think?
Okay, I said 8.
Okay.
Because
you gave it the same romance score as Princess and the Pauper.
Oh. Competition. I hope this movie isn't rated higher than Princess and the Pauper, though.
Don't worry, it won't be. I'm looking at the scores. It's
okay.
fine.
We'll see. Because I will say, overall, I did like this movie a lot, because when I was a kid, I would say like Princess and the Pauper, Mermaidia, and the 12 Dancing Princesses were probably my 3 favorite. So like I did rewatch this movie a lot, so I know I liked it more than Fairytopia, because I didn't remember Fairytopia like at all really. So I think as a kid I found it pretty entertaining. I thought the romance, it was just different than the other movies, which like that's kind of why I like Princess and the Pauper. I feel like is the romance was like a little bit different than the other Barbie movies, and like with this one, since Nori and Nalu like get together, and like we don't really see their relationship that much on screen, but like it's more like we know that they've had a lot of history together, so like it makes sense that they'd like each other because they've like been friends for years and stuff. So like it's not like Elena just came in, like met with Nalu for like a couple hours and then they're like in love.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like the other movies.
Feels better than that.
Like it feels more genuine, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, I wonder if Elena gets a love interest in the third movie. I don't remember.
All right, I went ahead and said 5 for romance.
Okay.
Because it felt like, I don't know, I thought it was fairly average. So that's better than the better score that I've given most of them.
I feel like
I've mostly given out 4s.
What's my highest romance besides Princess and the Pauper?
Where is it? Nutcracker.
How much was it?
6.
Wait, which one's the Nutcracker? Oh, that's the one where they travel together, right? And he's the Nutcracker.
Yeah, so they like get to know each other. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do think the travel together, falling in love, is kind of cute. Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of overdone. For some reason, the first example that came to my mind was Shrek, because that's like what happens with Fiona and Shrek, right? They travel together and then they fall in love.
So good. Shrek is such a good movie.
With these movies, there's always like they're traveling together, and then there's one scene where they're like camping and they like bond at night. Don't you think?
God, yes. Yes. Oh, what a good trope.
No, it's overdone though.
All right. Final score of 4.25 out of 10.
4.25?
So that ranks it. Yes.
Okay. What place is that?
That is... Oof. It's above Fairytopia.
Okay.
So it is... below Magic of the Pegasus, above Fairytopia. Which means it is... It's 5th.
Okay.
And then, so it's 5th, Fairytopia is 6th.
What's last?
And then Nutcracker is 7th.
Nutcracker is 7th?
It's because I gave it a -9 for art.
Oh, yeah. So you said this was higher than... No, it's lower than Magic of the Pegasus. That's interesting, because I thought this movie was better than Magic of the Pegasus.
Yeah, I think it's because we really didn't like the villain. And we didn't like the art.
Yeah.
We didn't like the character design in this one a lot.
I guess... Yeah. I mean...
I didn't really like the character design in Magic of the Pegasus either. But I think it was overall better. I liked
I did think
I liked the
villain was
outfit.
interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're right. And the whole her
I think this
sister
had
is
a better
Pegasus
story.
twist. Yeah.
Yes. Which we gave it a better for plot also.
Okay. So you said first is Princess and the Pauper, second is...
First is Princess and the Pauper. Second and third are tied between Rapunzel and Swan Lake. Magic of the Pegasus is 4th. Mermaidia 5th. Fairytopia 6th. Nutcracker 7th.
Well, seems right.
Yeah. Seems okay. All right. Now
Okay.
tell me about what is it called? Tell me about the Shadowhunters.
Okay. So over the summer, I listened to the second and third audiobooks in the series. Because I think when I talked to you, I listened to the first one. So I know
Yes.
everyone was
And I think you were in the middle of the second one.
Everyone was very into the Shadowhunters like way back in the day, like 2010 or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And so I was like, okay, like it's got to be good, like I don't know. What's another series you'd compare it to? Kind of like Twilight or like
Divergent maybe?
Yeah, The Hunger Games, yeah. That'd be like a good comparison. Cuz like, one of those things that a lot of teen girls like read. It's like the fantasy book of that time. But it really bothered me how there's this twist because Jace and Clary like they learn that they're brother and sister, right? Or they think they're brother and sister, and then later on we learn that they're not brother and sister.
Yes.
Except like, so in the second book, the whole time they're like, oh, like Chase is like, wait, Chase, that's not his name, Jace. Jace is like, oh, like I don't want to be with you, but like we can be together in secret and all this stuff. And then she's like, no, it's wrong that we're brother and sister. And he's like, but I've never felt this way about anyone. And then like they're like going,
dude, you're like 12, it's fine, you're gonna like keep living for a lot longer. It's
so
chill, you'll find
they're all like,
oh,
let's like live our secret romance as lovers. And then Clary's like, I can't do that. I think I did tell you about this part, right?
Yeah.
And then in the third book, they learned that Jace isn't actually her brother. She has another brother who her dad raised 2 boys in separate houses. And he like, oh my gosh, what's the other one's name? He has a stupid name. Like, Sebastian, I think. Or that might be his fake name. But basically, so this new boy comes into town because they're like in the Shadowhunter City, because they're like living there to try to, I don't know why they're there, but they need to save someone there or something. I don't know. So they're like, because Valentine's going to invade the Shadowhunter City, so they're like preparing for war and whatever. And then this new boy Sebastian comes, and he's like hot and whatever and stuff, and he's like flirting with Clary, and then
hot and whatever,
and like he and Clary like kiss and stuff, and like later we learn that he is her real brother. Okay, so he kissed his real sister. This isn't like a fake out from Jace and Clary, because they're like, oh, we're not really brother and sister. So he was like, because he's like competing with Jace because they're like kind of raised by the same dad, but like not really, because Jace isn't his real son or whatever. So I'm like, I feel like the author of this book is kind of into incest. Or like
it sounds like it.
Something about it, like she's like, oh, it's so like scandalous or whatever. I just don't.
Naughty and forbidden.
I don't understand. Ooh. It just made me so upset.
So taboo.
That's why.
Ew,
okay, I was actually. I remember I was studying abroad in Korea, and then I texted you, and I was like, "This book is making me so mad," and you were probably like, "What are you talking about?"
I was like, yeah, sure, cool.
You didn't read you read the first one, right? I think.
Yeah, I read the first one and then half of the second one, and then I was like,
now I'm like,
not for me.
I can't even. I want to continue the series, kind of, just because for something to listen to, but it's making me very upset. It's why? Also, Jace was all I knew we weren't brother and sister because I loved you so much, and but it's weird because
that is literally not how anything works.
Because he was like, oh, it makes sense that she's my sister because I've never felt this way about anyone. Our strong bond is actually because we're brother and sister. But then later he goes back on that and he's like, oh, our strong bond's because we're in love or whatever. And I'm like, but could you imagine you're dating someone and you find out that they're your sibling, and then a couple months, a year, a couple months later, you find out, and then you stop dating, right? Because you're like, we're siblings.
Gross.
And then a month or a year, whatever, later, you find out that you're not actually siblings. Why would you want to go back to dating them? That just seems wrong.
It's so much.
This book.
I'm anti that.
This book is too much. Just the fact that this series was so popular. I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't understand. It makes me unnecessarily upset, I guess.
Okay, yes, I agree. It makes me upset also. It's bad.
And I watched some of the TV show.
Bad take.
And I think the TV show, they kind of brush over more the fact that they're supposed to be siblings or whatever. They're not siblings, whichever.
Yeah.
They just don't
They just don't deal with it as much. They're just like, this is kind of gross. Okay.
Yeah. I just don't. But it's weird because in the book series, they spent so much time, the whole second book and most of the third book, Jace and Claire are trying to figure out what they should do about their relationship, because they keep going back and forth on whether they should be together in secret or if that's wrong or and I'm like, they shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah, this is weird.
It just made me very and also you're right, they're 15. I'm like, guys, no, please stop.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know they're gonna get together later, I'm like,
yeah. It's
I don't.
Oof.
I just had to. Okay.
It's a choice.
Maybe.
It's just your choice.
When I read the fourth book, or I'm gonna probably try to check out the fourth book on audiobook, and I'll tell you where it goes from there. But
Sounds perfect. We'll just get a little update later.
It's just. The fact that her real brother kissed her. Why?
Oof.
Why?
Gross.
Also, he was flirting with her the whole book. It's very odd. But I was trying to look it up, and I'm like, why is he in love with Clary? And then all the people on the forums were like, he doesn't know what real love is, so that's why he's expressing it in any way that he can and whatever. And he's trying to copy Jace's interactions with her, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
What?
I don't know. Well, he kind of grew up because he was Valentine's secret son, kind of.
Oh. Okay.
It's very weird. I don't know. The book series is kind of confusing because, basically when Clary's and Valentine, or Clary's mom and Valentine were in an abusive, relationship, so she wanted to leave him because he was, becoming, what's the word? He had his, group of resistance fighter people, but then, they started to get kind of, they started to go too far and stuff. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to leave with my daughter and son. But then her son, there was a fire, and then her son and her husband, she thought, died in a fire. But then later we learned that Valentine's still alive. But I still don't know if she had another son that died in the fire or if Sebastian was the son that died in the fire. It's just very confusing. Because, that's...
I think Sebastian would be the one who died in the fire, because otherwise she'd probably mention the other son.
Yeah, but then, that's why they were like, oh, Jace was the son that died in the fire, and he's not actually dead, because they found, a child's bones in the fire. And then, I don't... And then they were like...
Weird.
And his name was, JC, what's his name? Whatever. He had the same initials. He had the same initials as Jace had the same initials as her real son. So she was like Jace, but then she woke up from a coma and she was like, Jace isn't actually my son. I had another son. So it was like very confusing. Like I still don't quite understand.
I am not following it at all. I'm so sorry.
I don't follow it either, so I'm probably doing a bad job explaining it.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to look up really quick what the next movie is.
It's the Barbie Diaries.
Is it?
And then after that is 12 Dancing Princesses.
The Barbie Diaries. Oh, May 9th, 2006, like it said in the commercial.
Perfect.
So...
Well, I'll talk to you about the Barbie Diaries next week.
Yes. Next week, the Barbie Diaries. Okay, the basic plot I know, Barbie's a rock star. She wants to be part of the cool kids group, and she gets a magic bracelet that helps her become cool. That's like what it looked like in the preview.
What?
But like they're in high school.
I'm ready for it.
Maybe middle school, actually. I don't know. But like when they introduce
it's weird
like
that Barbie's a rock star, but she wants to be cool. Like, would it being a rock star
she's
like, just, make you cool?
She's in a band. Like part of the thing is she's in a band in her garage, and then there's like a clip where she's like, I can't go out in front of all these people, and I'm just a girl playing music in my garage, and now I don't know, something about it. And I was like, what is this movie about? It just sounded so cheesy, but like, I don't know. It's just, whatever. We'll get
ready
to
for it. Okay. That's a fun, like, little preview that you gave me. Thank you. I'm excited. That's
what I gathered from the trailer. I hope we can find it online. Because I've actually never heard of this movie before. Which is weird, because I guess I had a trailer for it on one of my DVDs that I watched as a kid.
Yeah. Well, worst case scenario, if we can't find it, then we'll just skip to 12 Dancing Princesses and look
I'm sure
again
someone
later.
has it. Someone's
exactly.
Like, we gotta, like, archive all of the Barbie movies. Important.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
so
do we have a sign off?
No. I was about to say stay sexy and don't get murdered, and I'm like, wait, that's not it. I've been listening
Stay saved and do God's mission.
I've been listening to too many episodes of My Favorite Murder.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
I was doing
actually,
that earlier also.
I noticed that like for the first 30 episodes they like didn't have a sign off. And then like I think someone gave them the idea of the sign off, because I was listening to separate episodes, and like one of them they said stay sexy, and then another one they were like don't get murdered. Then they like put it together.
Nah, perfect.
Because I thought that they just came up with it like on like the first episode, and I'm like, that would have been like really like that's such a good like, you know, ending.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
I don't listen to any other
workshop
podcasts, so really, so I don't know.
The end of My Brother and Me is kiss your dad square on the lips, but I don't really feel like that applies to us either.
Kiss your cat on the lips. I'm making eye contact with you right now. What do you see, Mew?
The Mew's like, don't you dare kiss me on the lips.
Mew. No, I'm trying to come up with, I don't know about, is it weird to I feel like all podcast outros are telling people to do something.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, at the end of YouTube videos, sometimes people are like, be nice and stay sweet and
okay.
Be good.
And how about we for next episode let's write down a couple that we think might work.
We'll have
like a week to think about it. And then we can like test them out. Of course they're gonna be bad. Isn't that like the whole point?
It's gotta somehow be a Barbie pun, but also not too on the nose.
Yes. Okay. Well, for now you're just like me.
Yeah, and I'm just like you. Something anyone can see. Okay.
All right. Bye, Philly.